Hey guys, if you clicked on this video, this either means that A, you are a beginner in manga reading, collecting, B, you just want to hear some more recommendations, C, you're just subscribed to me and you just checking in, seeing out my recommendations to other people, or D, I don't really know why else, but we're gonna get into all about manga recommendations for beginners. So if you're new to manga, you might not know about all the different terms. So there are 4 different demographics. There is shoujo, which is targeted towards younger girls, younger women. Josei, that's targeted towards older women. Shonen, that is targeted towards younger boys and younger men. And then seinen, that's targeted towards older men. Now, you can be any of these things, read anything. I read from all these different demographics, and then within those demographics there are different genres. So you have romance, you have comedy, you have action, you have isekai, you have sci-fi, you have all these different genres in between those. So I'm going to split this video up into 4 different parts. So if you are looking for shoujo recommendations for beginners, that's going to be the first thing I talk about. If you're looking for josei, that's going to be the second. Shonen, that's going to be third, and then we're going to end off with seinen. So feel free to, I'm going to put timestamps to skip around because I will have recommendations for every single demographic. So without further ado, let's start off with my shoujo recommendations. So for shoujo, the one thing that I want to clear the air about is shoujo is not all about romance. I mainly only read shoujo romance, so these recommendations are going to be kind of centered around shoujo romance, but you have horror, you have action, like there's a lot of other, things within shoujo, but these recommendations I'm giving you will just be mainly romance. So the very first recommendation that I have has to be Strobe Edge by Iyosaki Saka. If you're getting into shoujo, you're going to end up reading Iyosaki Saka's work at some point. Me personally, Strobe Edge is my favorite out of all of her works. You might like Aoharu, you might like Sakura Saku. She has a new manga going on right now, but I think Strobe Edge is the perfect manga for beginners just because we have Ninako. She's very energetic, she's very bubbly, she makes friends easily, and then Ren, the male lead, in the beginning of the story, he starts off with a girlfriend. So I think this is like a great read to see how people grow apart. You don't have to stay with the same person that you were dating in middle school. People change, and that's okay. So this one is really, really fun. It's only 10 volumes, so I think it would be really easy to get through as a beginner. Now, if you're looking for more beautiful artwork, I have to go with In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. This is by Mika Yamamori. She is also like a big mangaka in the shoujo sphere. Her artwork, oh, excuse me, I just burped. Her artwork is so, so, so pretty. And In the Clear Moonlit Dusk is also another easy one that I feel like you can get into. Even if you don't necessarily love the story, the artwork alone should be enough to make you want to read this one. It's about 2 people. Both of them are considered the princes of their school. They're both handsome. One of them is actually a girl named Yoi, and the other one is Ichimura. So you learn about each of them individually, and I really like this one because Yoi gets to realize that she's beautiful and she can be feminine if she wants to, and that there is somebody else in this world that sees her in a feminine light and not just handsome. So this one is, I really enjoy this one. This one is ongoing, currently 8 volumes out physically. So the next one up, if you want a isekai, I would go with Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. So this one has less romance aspect and more just a strong, independent female lead. That's like my main plus for the series, is that Riche is a very, very, very strong female lead. And I think this is a good introduction into isekai because it's not kind of like someone gets hit by a truck and then is in another world. She basically, like each time she turns 20, her life starts over again, and she has different jobs, and she explores all these different jobs. So then by this life, her 7th life, she meets this guy who had killed her either in every life or only in her 6th life. So he's getting a little interested in her, but it's really nice to have a story with a very strong female lead who isn't just there for the love. Like, she has her own goals, she has her own plans, she likes doing a lot of things, and with all these other lives that she had, she knows a lot of stuff. She can handle her own. So I think this is good introduction into like the isekai genre. So the next one that I have is My Love Story with Yamada-kun, level 999. I think that this is a good and like easy one to get into because it's super cute. Like, the art is really cute, the story is really cute, and there's gaming aspects in this, and I feel like there's a lot of different crossover between people that read manga, watch anime, and play games. So if you're looking for like a gamer kind of vibe, then this is a good manga to start with, because Akane and her ex-boyfriend used to play this what is it called? MMO together. I think that's the word I'm looking for, but they used to play this game together, and then he breaks up with her because he found somebody else who played the same game, and she's kind of heartbroken, wants to get back at him. Then she runs into Yamada, and he's very cold, bland. He's very handsome, but he doesn't really talk to girls. He's a pro gamer, so it's really nice to have that bubbly girl and like shy, blunt male lead, because after a couple volumes, I don't want to say they don't switch, but Yamada opens up a lot more, and he's very like forward with Akane. So I think that is just so super cute. So I would definitely recommend this one for any beginners out there. We're also kind of looking for like that gamer aspect. Plus, I think like 5 volumes in, they both are in college. In the beginning, he's just leaving high school and she is in her first year, I want to say. So a little bit of an age gap to where it's an older woman, younger guy, but I don't like calling it an age gap. So definitely check this one out. And last but not least, this is actually one that I had read very, very recently, is going to be the 31st Consort. So if you're looking for like a older time period, princessy kind of vibe, then I would definitely recommend checking this one out. It's very easygoing. It's very cute. I thought it was like super easy to follow. So we have, what is her name? Philia. We have Philia, who ends up being the 31st consort, and the king, I can't find his name right now, but the king is of age. I think he's 29, I want to say, and Philia is maybe like 23, the kind of vibe I was getting, maybe 22, so an age gap as well, and they're trying to find a wife for him. So once a month, he visits all of these consorts and then is going to eliminate it and pick out a queen and his wife. So unfortunately for Philia, since she's the 31st, there's not always 31 days in every month, so she doesn't get to see him every month. So it's like a lot of fun, like the time that they do have together, being able to see them together. And Philia is another female lead that is like extremely independent, and like everyone just loves her. Like, she reminds me of Riche and like Toru from Fruits Basket kind of rolled into one. So if you want like a more older time period, princessy, you know, consort, queen, definitely check out the 31st Consort. So still in the shoujo sphere, but different, we're going to get into BL. So I have 2 recommendations for you guys for beginners. So BL, for those of you who don't know, is boys love. There's also yaoi, but if I'm not mistaken, yaoi is the more explicit of the BL, and BL is just like the umbrella term for it. But of course, I have to recommend Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard. I have read this about 3 times. I think I've watched the anime and the dub and in the sub, and it is just so cute. It is so goofy. Basically, Adachi can read people's minds because he's 30 years old and he's still a virgin. So on his 30th birthday, he kind of woke up, and now he can read people's thoughts if they touch him or if he's touching them. So he ends up going to work, and he's in the elevator, and his very, very handsome coworker Kurosawa is in the elevator with him. and he happens to like bump, you know, his shoulder, and he's reading his thoughts, and Kurosawa's talking about his crush, and Adachi's like, oh my god, who does this guy like? And little does he know that it's him. So in Kurosawa's mind, he's very like explicit with what he's thinking about Adachi, and it's just so funny. It's really funny, it's really cute. I honestly think like this is such an easy BL to get into, just because there's a lot of comedy in it as well. So if you've never read or watched a BL before, I definitely would recommend it, just because of the comedy aspect in there too. Now, next up, I would have to recommend Love in the Palm of His Hands. This is also one that I read this year for the first time, and honestly fell in love with it. Think A Sign of Affection, but gay and better. Because I can't remember their names either because it's been a little bit, but Kaito has hearing loss, so he's deaf, and Fujinaga is a actor. He's like an aspiring actor, and they go to the same college, and they kind of run into each other and meet for the first time, and Fujinaga is trying to learn sign language so he can communicate with Kaito, and their relationship is just so healthy. It's very open. They talk about every single thing that happens, so it is really sweet. Like, I like A Sign of Affection, but honestly I think this is better than A Sign of Affection. Like, this is a much better take on the whole like deaf community. So this was really cute. I really like this one. So definitely read Love in the Palm of His Hands if you want another BL recommendation. Now, the opposite of BL, I would have to say, is GL. So if BL stands for boys love, guess what? GL stands for girls love. So you can also call it Yuri. So this one I don't own, so the recommendation that I have to make is I Can't Say No to the Lonely Girl. Super sweet. I think it's 6 volumes. I always say shorter series are probably better for beginners, just so they can like read them out the way and it's not too much getting into it. But I Can't Say No to the Lonely Girl is super cute, about 2 high school girls who basically like open each other's worlds up, open each other's horizons. The one is trying to get her to come back to school because her principal, I think it was, or her teacher is like, you need to get her back to school. And she was like, I'll only go if you do favors for me. So the favors might be going on a date, the favors might be kissing, the favors might be holding hands, and then they like, their relationship kind of goes from there. So I think it's super cute. It's 6 volumes, like I said. It's really bubbly, and it's nice to see like each of them enjoy each other's time and like open each other up. And then of course the number one GL recommendation that I always give is the Green Yuri. The guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, just because I think this is like the gateway into getting like into GL, because they are friends first. That's like the main thing, because Aya thinks that why am I forgetting her name? Mitsuki. Aya thinks that Mitsuki is a guy, as the title says, and she has a crush on her when she goes into the record store, but little does she know that that Mitsuki, sorry, is actually a girl. So I honestly think this is like the easiest GL to get into if you've never read GL before, because they do start off as friends. Like the green aspect in it is really pretty. There's also music in here. So honestly, like, this is my number one recommendation if you've never read a GL before. So now that the whole shoujo is out the way, we're going to get into the josei. Now, josei, I haven't read too many, not gonna lie. So I only have 2 recommendations for you guys. So the first one is going to be Cinderella Closet. And sometimes I see people say that this is a shoujo, so this is like borderline shoujo josei to me. But they are in college, and Haruka is very plain, and she moves, I think. Yes, she wanted to start her new country life, or sorry, start her new life in Tokyo. She came from the countryside, so she kind of wants like a new image, and she has a crush on this guy at work, and she wants to be pretty. And she runs into Hikaru on the street, and the Hikaru is so beautiful, and she runs into them, and she's like, I need you to teach me. I need you to teach me makeup. I need you to, take me shopping. So they hang out, they spend time together. They have a sleepover. Haruka wakes up the next morning, realizes that Hikaru is actually a boy and that Hikaru likes to cross-dress. So I honestly think that this one handles like cross-dressing very, very well. It's super, like, oh, it is so cute. And I like that just because Hikaru likes dressing as a girl, he's still a boy. Like, he still identifies as a boy, and he still has, I think he is, so I do think Hikaru is either pansexual or bisexual. I think they had mentioned that only like once in here, or maybe he is straight. I can't remember, but I do like that just because you like more feminine things or more girly things doesn't mean that you're not a boy, as some people like to think. But they're so good together. Like, even their friendship alone is just really, really good together. So this is a really cute read, and it was a lot of fun. Now, normally more josei titles have more spicy scenes, more smut in them. So the other josei that I really, really like is Assassin and Cinderella. So this one I honestly think is like perfect for people that want to get into smut or want to get into like more spicy scenes, but you don't see any nudity or anything. Just kind of like, they have a lot of tension, and like the artwork is very exaggerated at points, and he's drawn like really, really handsome. She's drawn like really pretty. Obviously she has like exaggerated proportions, but that's how they be doing these things. But like, honestly, this is very easy to get through. It's kind of like turn your brain off and read. So that's why I think it's perfect for beginners. Neneko is a spy who was sent to kill the assassin, and what is his name? So I do not remember his name either, because it's been a little bit since I read this, but for her job she has been sent to kill him, seduce him, and then kill him. So when she's with him, she has this whole like fake persona, but he basically knew from the start that she was a spy. But he didn't care because he actually fell in love with her. So he's kind of proposing like, oh, let's get married, or like, let's actually date. And then he sees her real self, her true self. So it is a lot of fun to read as well. There's some comedy in here, but really, like I said, if you are looking to get into like more spicier or more smut, like, I think this is a good bridge to get there. Right, so welcome to the shonen section. So the very first manga that I'm going to be talking about isn't printed physically yet. Volume 1 will be coming out in October, so make sure and pick it up when it does come out. But the very first one that I'll be recommending is Phantom Busters. So this one is just a lot of fun comedy. I think the power system is very, very unique. It's basically a group of 4 friends who are going around exorcising ghosts in their town to keep it, free of ghosts and spiritually okay. So one friend in the group can eat the ghosts. That's how he exorcises them, but he can't see them. One friend can see the ghosts. One friend can talk to the ghosts. And then the other friend is kind of just like the savvy, like straight A student who's trying to form this group to keep their town safe. So basically, each person of this group is extremely important. Without one piece, if you don't have someone who can exercise them, what's the point of having someone who can see them or talk to them? If you can't have someone that can talk to them, you don't know if they're a good ghost or a bad ghost, and so on and so forth. So these 4 friends end up forming this club and going out and doing these things together. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. I think that is a very, very like unique concept, unique idea. The art style I think is pretty cool. It's like very unique and like stylized, so definitely check this one out. I think this is like the perfect recommendation for beginners like getting into shonen. So next, of course, as everyone who has read this before will probably recommend this to beginners, have to give it to Spy Family, just because it's another story that's really easy to get into. It is slice of life. It has a lot of different genres in here. Action, comedy, little bit of romance. Sometimes, wish there was more between Yor and Lloyd, but you get that little tinge in there, but it's basically a fake family. So Lloyd is a spy and he's on a mission to take down or infiltrate like the Desmonds and save the West or the East. I can't remember which side he's on, but save whatever side is the good side. Save the world, essentially, is what his thing is. But Lloyd has to form this family and get a child to go to the school that the Desmond son is going into. So he gets a daughter named Anya. Lloyd is a spy. No one knows he's a spy. Anya is a telepath, so she knows he's a spy and he doesn't know she's a telepath. And then to complete their fake family, he gets a wife named Yor, who is an assassin, and Anya knows that she's an assassin. So Lloyd and Yor don't know about each other's true identity, but Anya knows the full picture. So it's a lot of fun because Anya is like 4 or 5, around that age, so you get to really see like the point of view of a child, like learning all these things for the first time. So it's also really fun to see them come together, and even though this fake family was formed kind of last minute, they really do act like a real family as the volumes go on, and it's just a lot of fun and it's really cute. So you guys probably already know, but of course I'm gonna have to recommend Full Metal Alchemist. This is definitely the longest series, I think, out of, oh no, not the longest, because the next one is the longest, but Full Metal Alchemist is complete in 27 volumes. If you have not read this, if you have not watched this, you need to hop on this right now. Even if you watched it, read it, because there's more stuff in the manga that you don't see either in the 2003 or the newer version of the anime. So for those of you who don't know what Full Metal Alchemist is about, this is my favorite manga of all time. We have Edward and Alphonse, who are 2 boys from a mistress, and they learn how to use alchemy very, very young. Their mother dies and they want to break the rule of alchemy by creating a human being, as in by bringing their mom back to life. Because they commit this sin, they have to pay a toll. So Alphonse loses his entire body. His soul gets bound to the suit of armor. While Edward is trying to bring Alphonse back, he loses his arm and his leg. So now Alphonse is this big suit of armor and Edward has a automail arm and leg. So they are on the journey of trying to figure out how to get their original bodies back, but there's a lot of different side plots going on. Some crazy stuff is happening in the government. There's war, there's racism, there's romance, there's comedy, there's action, there's drama. Like reading this, I'm doing my reread of this right now. I think I'm on like volume 14, I think. I've read, I've cried, I've laughed, it's a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of heavy themes in this, but they keep it fairly light since it is a shonen. But Edward is one of my favorite male protagonist just because of his growth throughout the story. In the beginning, he is extremely childish. Yes, he is a child, but he's very selfish. He's very self-centered. He's all about me, trying to get my body back. I don't care about what it takes to get my body back. As the story goes on, you can see he's really opening up. He's caring for people. He's learning about the laws of alchemy, so on and so forth. So this really is like a very, very good staple that you have to read. And then last but not least, in the shonen, and this is sports, and this is why I said it's the longest one because it's so ongoing, is Blue Lock. This isn't volume 1 because I have it like tucked under here and I wasn't taking all that down, so I'm just gonna hold up volume 18. Blue Lock, I think, is a really fun sports series to get into. Not necessarily saying you have to read it because it is a lot of volumes. Even if you did watch it, I think this is a good place to start, either watching or reading. It has a twist on soccer to where all of the strikers, all of the young strikers anyway, I think in high school, so ages like 15 to 17, I want to say, are fighting to be the #1 striker in Japan. And if they lose the competition, their soccer career is over. So you have kind of like that battle royale type of aspect in it. And it's a lot of fun. This one really is a lot of fun. You really see people's egos truly come out. People always say that the male lead in this one, Isagi, came from a happy home, like loving family, but he is like, he's mean. He really is mean. He's like, yeah, he's mean. So people are always like, how did he end up like this when he comes from a loving home? But yeah, he really is mean. But definitely recommend Blue Lock to beginners. Right, so last but not least, the final category is seinen. So for seinen manga, like I said, it's going to be more deeper themes. So you can't have seinen category without Shuzo Oshimi. So I'm going to recommend this one shot by Shuzo Oshimi called Toxic Daughter Chichan to beginners, just because. So Shuzo Oshimi is known for very crazy things that he writes, very deep things, scary, thriller, makes you feel like eerie. So this volume definitely has that, but it's more tame since it is just a one shot. So I think if you're interested in reading Shuzo Oshimi's artworks, definitely start with Toxic Daughter Chichan because it is wrapped up in the one shot, and then branch off from there. Same thing goes for Inio Asano. I think their stuff is a little bit more heavy than Shuzo Oshimi. So if you want to read some of their works, try to find one shots, or definitely don't start with Goodnight Pompon. Do not do that because that was a lot. That was really a lot. But do like a little bit here and there. Give your mind, give your mental a break. So another one I have to recommend is Hell's Paradise. This is a lot of fun. I only read, I think, the first 3 volumes, but I watched the whole first season. Yeah, the whole season 1. I think they're coming out with the season 2 this winter season, I want to say. But Hell's Paradise is a lot of fun. A very, very unique story. Group of criminals get pardoned to go to this island to find this elixir of life. Whoever finds the elixir of life gets pardoned. So it's a group of criminals get out of jail to go to this island. Now on this island though, people are dying, people are going missing, turning into monsters. So it's kind of like you're risking your life to get out of jail for the rest of your life. And these are like dangerous like criminals, like crazy assassins. So they're taking it, they're really taking the chance, but it's a lot of fun. So I think that this would be a good place to start within the genre. Now, seinen isn't always dark and thriller and scary, because there is also seinen romance, as in Skip and Loafer, but Skip and Loafer is more of a slice of life. That's the thing with seinen romance. It's less on the romance and more on the friendship and growing as people aspect. So Skip and Loafer is about this country bumpkin who moves over to Tokyo, and she is making friends. Yeah, like that's basically it. Like I always say, this is one of my favorite friend groups that I've ever read. It like talks about girlhood really, really well. Her and the male lead, I think, have great chemistry within each other. They try different things. Her and her friends it's a lot of stuff, but I really think that Skip and Loafer would be a good read for somebody who is just getting into either slice of life, romance, high school things, if that makes any sense. Now for the last seinen I do not own physically is Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. You've probably heard of this one before because this is really, really hot right now. Anime is coming out this season. Lots of people are reading the manga. I've read all the way up to what's coming out, like the English scans online, but another romance that focuses more on the romance because the 2 main characters get together like early on in the story, but you learn about all of the friends. I really like this story because it really dives deep into each side character. That is very rare. That's also why the series I feel like is a little bit longer, is because you really get to learn about every single character, and it's 2 schools that shouldn't have anything to do with each other. One's an all-boys school who is kind of like rebellious and bad, and then the other's an all-girls school who's like high standards. So it's like a Romeo and Juliet type story, but it is really cute, and I think it would be a good read for beginners. Okay, if you made it to the very end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around. These are personally all of my recommendations to beginners. If anybody has any other recommendations, please let me know. Drop them in the comments below because I could only recommend so much. I didn't want this video to be like so long. It probably is long already. But like I said, thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. Link will be in the description below. And I will see you guys next time. I hope somebody finds something good off of this list. All right, guys. Bye.